Hi, I'm Mia. Welcome to the 2-Minute Taxpayer Update, brought to you by Team Harkey.
The State Board of Equalization, or BOE, collects over $60 billion in revenue each year and is the only elected tax commission in the U.S. Why is that important, Brittany?
Because every California taxpayer has an advocate, their elected member. Vice Chair Diane Harkey represents 9.5 million constituents in Southern California's 4th Equalization District.
And we have an important message. Contact us if you have a tax problem and contact us early. Our professionals can help you through the state tax maze.
So, how do we help taxpayers? Through casework and investigation to ensure that relevant tax and fee laws are being properly applied and all board-approved policies are being observed. Our office recently worked with agency staff on a refund claim of over $300,000. The agency ultimately concluded the refund was owed to a small business owner in the district. The taxpayer said he would have gone out of business without that refund.
And that's just one true success story. The BOE has returned hundreds of thousands of dollars, resulting from successful refund claims to District 4 businesses of all sizes.
Vice Chair Harkey's office hit the ground running in 2015 to provide concierge-level service to taxpayers. Her team has resolved tax issues, issued community recognitions, and attended hundreds of local events.
And we're very excited for our biggest event of the year.
Join us November 3rd for our annual Connecting Women to Power Business Conference. The free event will bring over 1,500 fellow female business owners, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs for a day of empowerment and education.
Join us and build your Rolodex to success. RSVP now to secure your seat.
Heads up, SoCal drivers, there's a new pilot program being tested to charge drivers a fee for each mile they drive. It's being explored as a replacement for the gas tax to fund road maintenance. A report to the legislature is due in January.
And in San Diego, voters will be asked to increase the sales tax rate by 0.5%. The tax hike would fund road improvements. The measure requires a 2/3 vote. Our staff will be monitoring these issues as they unfold.
That's it for your 2-minute taxpayer update. Is that really 2 minutes?
Probably not.
Okay, 2-minute taxpayer update. Get social with us and subscribe to our newsletter. Until next time, thanks for watching and thanks for doing business in the Golden State.
You may be asking, why am I going through the garbage over here? It's a good question, and the answer is very important. You see, one person's trash may be another person's treasure, and that's especially true here at the CDTFA. It's happened here, it's happened in other workplaces. Sensitive documents end up in the recyclable trash or the regular trash, and who knows where they end up after that. Here at the CDTFA, we have a professional and legal obligation to protect information provided to or compiled by our agency. And we've got a policy in place aimed at doing just that. Here's how it works, and here's what you need to know. We're going to start with personal information. That's identifying or describing an individual. We're talking names, addresses, social security numbers, phone numbers, email addresses. You want to watch out for specific dates too, like a birthday or the day you were admitted or discharged from the hospital, even the day someone dies. And then there's confidential information, typically in the files and records. This could be e-reg account data, taxpayer account numbers, biometric identifiers such as finger or voice prints, photographic images, serial numbers, or any unique number used to identify someone. Web URLs and IP addresses are also considered confidential, as are state agency records regarding financial transactions or regulatory actions. Both personal and confidential information is treated as sensitive and requires special precautions to protect from unauthorized use, access, disclosure, modification, loss, or deletion. So what is the correct way to get rid of sensitive documents when you don't need them? This thing. It's a confidential destruction container. It's big, it's heavy duty, it's even locked. You'll find them in the mailroom at HQ, you'll find them on every floor at HQ, and you'll find them in the field offices. And if you can't find them, ask your supervisor. The documents in these bins, personal and confidential information, will be shredded on-site under supervision of staff. Make sure you know the difference between these confidential destruction containers and the regular recycle bins, and make sure that you put your trash in the appropriate one. And then there is federal tax information, also known as FTI. FTI is any information provided by the IRS regarding a taxpayer. It might be ownership, personal or business address, revenue and expenses, basically items that you'd find on a federal tax return. FTI is only to be used for the purposes of tax administration. And there's a separate set of handling requirements and destruction procedures for FTI. That's covered in the mandatory information security training and disclosure training. That's a lot of information about sensitive information, but we hope it explains it. If you've got any questions, though, just send them to informationsecurity@cdtfa.ca.gov.
Independence,
purpose,
opportunities,
team-oriented,
good health benefits,
stability,
good training, believing in what you're doing,
work-family balance,
the opportunity to do more,
make a difference,
achieve and promote.
Working for the BOE has just presented so many opportunities for me in my career.
We're pretty much a leader for the sales and use tax nationwide.
I wanted to be in a field where I could become the expert in what I'm doing, and at the BOE I had the opportunity.
I don't think anybody slept. I think we all went home thinking and fearing the worst, that Michael may have been hurt or worse.
I think humor is the best way to get beyond it and embrace it and turn it around to something that's positive.
And what I do is I sit down and interview the eyewitness or the victim of the crime to gather all the necessary information to produce a composite sketch.
It's more cost effective for the parents to pay for one DVD resume. That way they can mail it out to hundreds of colleges across the country and the globe.
It's good renewable energy, it's greenhouse gas reduction, and it's sustainable solid waste management.
I got it.
Independent even at 4 years old. At a park by her house in Natomas, Malia Jeffers scoots her little body to the top of the jungle gym using her 2 prosthetic legs and the strength from her arms.
Seeing her play and being very independent is just, it's happy probably for any father.
Wow.
For Malia's dad and the rest of her family, these moments have not come easy.
Jump slow.
It was 2010. 4 days after Thanksgiving, when Malia's parents brought her to the emergency room at Methodist Hospital of Sacramento. Malia's skin was turning purple while a nasty case of strep worked its way through her body. An investigation by the Department of Health and Human Services backs up the Jeffers claim that Malia was left waiting to see a doctor for up to 4 hours. Eventually, doctors would have to amputate parts of all of her limbs to save her life.
That they made me wait that long it was horrible thinking about it, and I kept pondering that in my head, saying, what if I did this, what if I did that, you know, and it haunted me over and over again.
Ryan feels the hospital wasted precious time that could have been spent saving Malia's limbs from amputation. The report by health officials outlines the hospital's deficiencies, saying there's no evidence a nurse kept up with Malia's condition as it worsened. But the hospital also outlines changes it made as a direct result of Malia's case. New procedures, policies, and audits. They're assigning a nurse to the ER lobby 24/7 to assess patients as they come in.
It's forced the hospital to look at what they were doing and to make changes that would result in better care.
Mosley Collins is the attorney who helped the Jeffers family secure a $10 million settlement with the hospital to cover the cost of Malia's past and future care.
Well, I think they're forced to make steps in the right direction because they got sued and then they got investigated by the Department of Health, and so they had to make changes, and that's one way to get changes done.
Course 2.
We got an M. 2 years later, Malia is adapting.
By Mookie Dokie. cookies.
most of the time unaware of her disability. She gets around the house with or without her prosthetic legs. Last March, she surprised everyone at her parents' wedding by walking down the aisle on legs she'd been fitted for just the day before.
All of my doubt suddenly goes away.
Not only just walk down the aisle, but to be happy. And that's what touched a lot of people, is that she's so happy.
Whoa, see Daddy.
Ryan knows there will be many more happy moments to come.
See Jaden.
She can do anything. And for us as parents, we're not going to limit that to nothing. You know, anything she can and wants to do, we're gonna allow her to do that.
You did it by yourself.
Welcome to Rayleigh Field, where politics,
Romney, Obama,
and baseball meet, at least for a night.
We had a wobble election.
Fans entering the Rivercats game were faced with a choice.
Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, little guys' heads wobble side to side.
The rules for this election are simple. 2,500 wobbling politicians were given out, $12.50 of each. The first to run out, that's your next president. And when the ballot boxes were empty, the winner was...
President Obama won by a very narrow margin, fewer than 100 votes.
And since Obama ran out first, some fans who came late were left with only Romney heads when they came in.
I ran out of Obama. Take the Romney.
No matter what side of the aisle you're on a hot night for baseball, keeping cool was the primary objective. And no matter who they wobble voted for, most fans thought this election was a useful, if unscientific, political game.
I think it's great, man. Get more people involved. I love it.
You know, we're having fun with the wobble election here, but of course we want people to vote in the actual election here in November.